Pepio, Littell, Bradley, 6 innings, 1 or 2 earned runs, 7 or 8 strikeouts. I think there was 1 walk between the 3 of them.
Kevin, you bring me a paper that says that the Rays are going to finish this season with the 21st or 22nd best offense in MLB. I sign that paper right the bleep now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Rays, your daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We've got you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano,
bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
Whether you're a diehard fan who vividly remembers Longo's Game 162 just like us,
or you remember the early Double Ray days of Wade Boggs and Carl Crawford,
we're here to break down every play, every trade, and every milestone. In fact, this will be our 7th season covering the Rays daily.
And the regular season is afoot, so go ahead, grab your favorite Rays gear, head to Steinbrenner Field, settle in, and also subscribe to our Locked On Rays YouTube channel and other podcast platforms. You can also find us on X and Instagram at Locked On Rays.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins.
All right, Ulises. The Tampa Bay Rays did what we asked of them, and that was to take 2 of 3 from the Colorado Rockies. It was difficult and challenging at times, but that was the operation, and they succeeded in that operation. And now they go right on and will face Pittsburgh Monday through Wednesday before having an off day. But I just got to say, it is nice to have regular season baseball back. I think spring training is way too long. I think the off season is too long. So we can actually talk about the action on the field. It is refreshing that there were minimal Stu Sternberg controversies or stadium articles, this, that, and the other. I was laser focused on watching the games or attending games and just consuming Rays baseball on the field, not off the field.
It was a nice change of pace, because I know that we've had a lot of engagement with stadium episodes and all that, and when we get people in to talk about the stadium is really fun and it's interactive and it's a whole different vibe. But we want to talk about baseball. We want to talk about the stuff that's happening on the field. So it's finally here. We get to talk about that. Look at you, already excited with your 98ers hat.
I know, I haven't worn this in a minute. It's like a wool hat, so it's hard to wear it unless it's if I'm at the Trop, I'm okay. But if I'm outdoors, it makes it a little bit more challenging in the heat in those types of conditions.
Guess what? We were out on Saturday for the game that Zach Littell got on the mound, and unfortunately the Rays lost. But we were out there, and that is a whole different experience than at the Trop. I don't know about you. And look, let's just do a clause here. We both love the Trop. We have said all of the positive things that the Trop has many, many times before. If you need to be reminded about all the beautiful things that we think about the Trop and that we have said on about the Trop before, go and look at all of the things we've talked about since the last 7 years. That was amazing. The coziness of the stadium, the nearness from our houses,
Yes.
the fact that 99% of the people that were there were not casuals. It seemed like everybody was in on the game because of the limited seats. The prices have risen, so only if you really care you're going to be there.
Right.
And it was palpable. A lot of people said the same thing on Friday. I felt it on Saturday. It was just a different experience in a very positive way. I know there's been a lot to talk about with the stadium, and we have definitely done that. But if we could just look at it positively, it was a great experience. It was a lovely atmosphere, seeing the sun while Major League Baseball is playing in your hometown, and your hometown team is playing. It was literally unlike anything I've had before, because it has never been done before.
Yeah, just imagine if we have playoff games at Sambrano Field, how historic and unique that would be. If you do live near the ballpark, and I would assume many people do, Uber if you can, because parking is $30 at Raymond James Stadium. I guess you got to play the numbers game to see if it works out. But I think it's more convenient to just hang an Uber instead of navigating the parking lot before the game, and especially after the game, because I think you'll be waiting a little bit. And I don't even want to think about what's going to happen when you have a Rays game simultaneously with a football game. That will be an absolute disaster. So I'll pretty much pay whatever I have to, Uber or Lyft wise, to make it work. So yes, and I'll say that the Rays did a bang up job with making Steinbrenner Field feel like home. I think the only Yankees stuff that we could see, obviously the statues outside the main entrance of the ballpark, nothing is happening to those. And then on the sides of all the seats, there's a Yankees emblem. So, I mean, unless you have the time, the manpower, and the money to put some sort of sticker over those 10,000 Yankees seats, it's just not practical. Other than that, it does feel like the Rays ballpark for 2025.
Did you go to the bathroom?
I did go to the restroom multiple times, actually.
Did you? Yeah, once you break the seal, yeah. When you went,
have a 25-ounce beer and a 16-ounce beer and multiple Pepsi Zeros, that usually warrants a couple bathroom trips, I will say.
It does indeed.
What I was happy about too was the fact that I could go in flip-flops, sleeveless sweatshirt, and I was comfortable. I can't do that at the Trop. I can't get away with it at the Trop.
It's cold.
It's cold. And
sometimes
chilly.
it gets cold.
I would be freezing. I'm bundled up like it's winter when I go to the Trop. I come prepared with pants and multiple layers, if you will.
I asked about the restaurant because I was thinking, or did you see any Yankee stuff in there?
I honestly wasn't paying that close attention. I was just waiting in line. I did not see
anything that like was like so big that you were like, oh wow, that's still there. Like that didn't like
nothing piqued my eyes or interest with that one outside of like I guess the Yankee color shade of the splash guards perhaps, but I didn't see a lot of Yankees logos in the bathroom.
Okay. Because that's the only thing I didn't really like go, see. I didn't go to restrooms. So I was like, maybe like just like on the sides of the seats, there was like some Yankee stuff. But no, the job that was done in like 78 hours that they had to do everything that they did was impressive. And we are trying to, give you guys some insight about that. But Kevin, I believe that we need to tell folks something very important.
That is correct.
Let's do that right now. March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. In fact, new customers right now can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Again, 200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories, whatever you want. Even on who's cutting down the nets, you can do that at FanDuel. Go for the underdog. Why not go for the underdog? Whoever that is, in your opinion. So again, today, go to FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long.
All right. Also want to note this about the Rays playing at Steinbrenner Field. So I will say that if you are used to the concessions at the Trop, the wide variety, the unique fares, you're not going to get much of that. It's more the meat and potatoes classic ballpark fare, because I don't think that ballpark is designed to have the infrastructure or to have as many options and varieties that you might expect in previous iterations at Tropicana Field. So, and it's going to be expensive as wherever you go for a minor or major league baseball game. It's very expensive, but there's beer, hot dogs, chicken tenders, pizza. That's about the extent. Popcorn, Cracker Jacks, pretzels. You're not getting those. Whatever you usually try some of the more twisty options. If you will. There's not as much of that or any of that at Steinbrenner, and they've also on the positive end of things, we know the heat is going to be an issue. There are shaded areas that you can leverage and take advantage of. Hey, just walk in the team store if you have to. And there are screen stations and water mist air stations, so you can kind of there are opportunities to cool off.
And there's the tent there with like multiple options to like drink and get some little snacks. There's like a little halfway team store inside that tent. There's also obviously the restaurant that they have there. So yeah, you've got options when you're there. I think we wanted to highlight what a positive experience it is if you go to Steinbrenner, which by the way, we need a nickname on Steinbrenner Field like
it's
yesterday. We need one.
I
don't know if I've heard people call it the Stein. Okay. Feels a little bit, bland. But if that's the way that we're just going to do the Stein, we're calling it the Stein. But I think we need to come up with a nickname, people.
There needs to be something punchier.
It needs to be punchier, just like the offense needs to be maybe a little bit punchier because, the Rays did win the weekend series against the Rockies, but man, it was tough to get a run across. And then Sunday happened, and they put 6 runs on the board, and you're feeling good about it. It's 6-2. It cuts down to 6-4. You start to get a little bit of man on base in the later innings.
Yeah, Kevin Kelly made me a little bit nervous there because not just the home run, but also some loud outs as well. Like, oh boy. But yes, we can start with that of the offense was an issue throughout the course of the series, especially the game we went to on Saturday. There was just nothing doing. Well, there were a lot of hits, but no runs scored. And then Sunday, where they put a 6 spot on the board, it's not like they were bashing homers left and right. Those were, you're talking bunts, small ball, moving runners over, bleeder,
everything that we didn't see last year.
Run score. That's what they did. But you think the overarching theme is that the bats need to heat up at some point to give the pitching staff and defense a little bit more breathing room, because outside of, we spotlighted Kevin Kelly for a moment. The pitching staff really couldn't have done anything better than what they did opening weekend. And you got to give them a little bit more of a cushion going forward. As far as the starters go, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it was quality start. It's as good of a 1-2-3 as you could ask for. Every one of those guys, Pepio, Littell, Bradley, 6 innings, 1 or 2 earned runs, 7 or 8 strikeouts. I think there was 1 walk between the 3 of them. That is about as good as it gets. And you hope it keeps up for the entirety of the season. But you put forth that type of pitching performance, you got to give the guys some help, especially early on. You can't continue to wait until the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th inning to get something done.
And again, this was against the Rockies. It's going to get much tougher with other teams. But to your point, Ad Race Metrics did put it out there. 18 innings by the starting pitching this series, 22 Ks, 1 walk, no home runs. That's at such a great start to the 2025 season by the Rays rotation, and you still have to see Rasmussen and Boss against the Pirates. So look, this offense on paper should be better than last year. What we saw at the end, like the totality, it should be better. I know there's a lot of naysayers saying that it's the same offense. It's not.
No.
However, we understand that we should all understand that this Rays offense, even though we think that we're going to see some improvement, it's not going to be an offensive-led team. This team is going to be led by their pitching and will always be led by their pitching unless it's 2021 and 2023, and those things just don't happen that often. So I
Those
think
are
we should,
outliers,
yeah, we should understand that. Like this, even if we see an improvement, it's probably not going to be to your liking if you want to see some offensive Rays. It's not going to be. However, it should be better. And although that series was a little bit tough with that anemic offense to try to struggle to get a run or two across, keep in mind 3 games out of 162. I
Right.
think we should keep an eye on the offense, but let's not turn this into this is the same offense as last year. Like, let's give it some time. If by again, I said this on Friday, if by June 1st this is still an issue, then we're going to have to talk about it
Right.
as much as everybody wants us to talk about it. But right now, I think like we should keep an eye on it, but let's give it some time for them to work out. But
and I will say this. I mean, the Rockies came to play defensively. There were some really solid plays that may have prevented a couple runs. I remember the outfielders, the first baseman, Tolia, shortstop.
Doyle.
Yeah, there were, and Doyle's a Gold Glove player, and I think Tolia might have a chance to win a Gold Glove. So the other team gets paid too. I think that one thing that deals a blow early on, and we'll get to this on Tuesday's episode, is the injury to Josh Lowe. So you're taking a guy that you expected to make a huge dent in the lineup, and you're putting 2 rookies in his place. You're putting 2 guys that, have really no experience whatsoever at the big league level, and you're throwing them in the fire and replacing one of the more beloved players on this roster. Cam Misner, of course, had his moment on Friday, which was great, and then Jake Mangum. But we also have to keep in mind that Taylor Walls will not be the primary starting shortstop for this entire season. Ha-Seong Kim will be available at some point, and that should boost things up a little bit more. And I do like, again, the Rays thinking outside the box, being creative, lay down a bunt, do what you have to do to get runs across. Yeah, maybe Saturday. I guess the third base coach was a little bit too aggressive with sending some guys. You got to know the speed, the athleticism, and the situation, and that's a learning moment. Maybe he holds them, and the Rays are able to get something doing if those guys weren't thrown out at home.
I mean, the Caminero send was egregious, honestly.
Yeah,
the Caminero was by at least. And so, like, what makes me think, and we talked about it while it was happening, was he sent? Was that, number one, was he sent? Number two, was it just Caminero just going for it? Or number three, was he sent because you don't believe in the bottom of the lineup,
right,
of who's coming after?
That could be it.
So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But
yeah. I think I've not looked at the strikeout numbers over the course of the entire weekend series, but it did seem like guys had a little bit of a better approach at the plate and were putting the ball in play. Maybe I'm just, catching the highlights and catching good moments of this team. But again, it's still early. There's still a lot to learn and a lot to grow from. But I think that the way this season starts out is great for them because you have the Rockies and then you have the Pirates. That's an opportunity to get some bulk on the win-loss record, if you will. So just wanted to note that. We do have some listener comments that we want to get to, their thoughts on the opening day weekend, and we'll run through them right here. Ty says, slightly worried. It's super early. Daniel says, pitching is what we expected to this point. Hitting needs to catch up to the pitching, but the team has had some good velo on the hits, just not falling. So I am optimistic. The great Al Bushman says, looking with the pitching, offense like last year needs to score more runs and stop leaving runners in scoring position. Dustin Payne says sexy. I guess he likes the 2 dubs that the Rays were able to pick up. Sonny says sell the team, Stu. Okay, we heard some of those chants over the course of the weekend. Our buddy Ryan Hill says pitching is really solid, maybe even better than I thought. Happy with Morel's weekend. Junior is for real, and B. Lau is going to love playing here. Clancy says pitching looks lights out so far. Walk of baseball. The Rays have been mashing the ball. So many hard hit balls, and I feel like our pitching has been awesome so far. Chris says Mangum should have been up last year. Aranda will be good going forward. And we are Simpson away from an exciting team. And then Scott says winning the series was very well deserved. Let's get the series win against the Pirates. So there we go. Those are some of the comments that we got here.
I agree with all of them. I mean, the pitching, it has been really solid. I am a little bit worried about the offense, but I think there should be some time to let out with that. And Mangum and Misner, hey, look, man, this is the universe giving you that mythical opportunity that says, hey, are you going to do something with it? Or are you not going to do something with it? Like, those sometimes guys spend years and years in AAA, and that opportunity is never shown to them, and they have fantastic numbers. But sometimes it just doesn't happen, and they just become a career minor leaguer, right?
Right.
This is up an opportunity for both of these guys, and it's tough because like it could be your only shot to be a relevant major league player. So I know there's a lot of pressure on both of these guys, but like this is an opportunity. And we're going to talk about the Josh Lowe injury on Tuesday, but it's going to be for a while. So this is for them to really take it upon themselves to show what they got, because just like somebody else said up there's somebody who is dominating AAA, and his name is Chandler Simpson. Yeah. The other day, he did exactly what I said I want to see when he gets to the majors. He gets on base, he's at first, steals second, steals third, bat throw, scores. Ball wasn't even put in play after he gets on base, on first base. That's the type of player he is. So Josh Lowe, Johnny DeLuca, Cameron Misner, I'm forgetting one, Mangum, Jake Mangum.
Well, yeah, he's somewhat easy to forget. And I mean that, with all respect, he's 29 years old and still hasn't had a shot. I think he was the batting champion in AAA for the international.
Yes, he was. So that's what I'm saying. Like the Jake Mangums, they're like, dude, what else do I have to do to get an opportunity? So this is your opportunity. So Mangum, Misner, Josh, Johnny DeLuca, there's a guy in AAA who is going to get his shot, right? Who has done everything. So beware.
And here's the thing too, just to close out on this with the offense, don't want to harp on it too much more, but again, we're not asking this offense to go from, 29th in the league to second in the league. Mm-hmm. We're asking them to take 5, 6, 7 steps up from where they were last year. If you can finish in team OPS or use a combination of metrics and say we were the 22nd or the 21st best offense in baseball combined with everything else you have, you should be okay. You should be able to win a lot of games with that.
Kevin, you bring me a paper that says that the Rays are going to finish this season with the 21st or 22nd best offense in MLB. I signed that paper right the bleep now.
All right.
Right the bleep now. Like, we're not asking for much. I know some people on the comment section are going to be like, what, 21st? That's so low. That's the expectations that we have. Yes, it is, because this pitching staff is nasty. The defense is nasty. They're athletic enough. If they can play small ball, things are going to be good. We're not asking for much. We're not asking them to be the Dodgers or the Yankees types offenses. Like, we're not doing that. Yeah. We're just saying, can you stop being the 28th, 29th, 30th offense in baseball like you were in 2024 and step it up to like 21st or 22nd?
Maybe they got to use those torpedo bats that are all the rage now. It allows the Yankees to hit 9 home runs in a single game. So I know Caminero and Yandy are checking it out. So maybe that's the new wave to attack all the pitching metrics and wildness. Pitching has always been above hitting as far as analytics and development goes. Well, maybe this is the pushback on that is these quirky looking bats. So something to monitor going forward. In the meantime, hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you tomorrow.